Okay, we're back with another live, lunchtime live. And I'll give it a minute here. Okay. And I'll give it a minute here. Okay, it's working. I just checked my app on my phone to make sure it's working. So, timer. I know I got a timer in Windows. Stopwatch, that's what it is. Stopwatch. Clock. All right, stopwatch. Timer. 30 minutes. Save that. What about all these other ones? 1 minute. Can I get rid of these? Yeah. I need to change the name of this. It's called a 1 minute timer set to 30 minutes. Save that. Start it. Minimize this thing. Timers will only sound when PC is awake. Okay. I don't want to stick that behind my head. All right. I wonder if anybody's out there. All right. I don't know if anybody's out there, but I'm going to keep going. So we're picking up where we left off, and this is the lab. I have 4 VMX nodes. I told you in the last live that I didn't like when you click on the control plane to configure. Yeah, there we go. To configure these nodes, after you click on, after you have a bunch of them, you're going to have a bunch of different windows. Okay, so, you got a bunch of different windows. And I mentioned a multi-tab terminal. And so there we go. Here's a free version of mobaxterm. And you put sessions over here, and then you can have all of your sessions in one window instead of having a bunch of cascaded windows for a bunch of different routers. I will tell you this, it's pretty cool. In Eve, when you have multiple sessions to the same device, check this out. So here's MX01 and here's MX01. You see that? Now watch this. Show system information. Look at, it's typing it on both screens. I'm actually typing in the mobaxterm window. So it's just a multiple appearance of the same terminal session. Okay. So I'll just shut this one. You don't want to type exit here, because if you exit again, it's typing the command at both windows. So you're not going to want to do that. All right. So just close the window and keep your mobaxterm windows. Now, how do you know? How do you know which or what port to set up, or how do you put these in mobaxterm? Well, I'll show you how. Float over the node. Okay. See, I'm floating over the control plane node, the virtual control plane. Look in the bottom left corner of the Eve lab. See how it says telnet:// evo2.local:32770. That's the logical TCP port that you're going to want to set up for your terminal emulator. Look over here. When I go to VMX02, 32771. All right. Over here, 32772 and 32769. So you can see I already have 32770, and that is MX02, and 32771. Excuse me, this is MX01, this is MX02. So I need to put MX03 in here. That's 32769. So just duplicate the session, right click, duplicate session, click on it, change the name 32769. Yes, I want to change it. Right click on it and edit the session, and then change it to 32769 for the actual port number. Now when you double click on that, you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to make this a little bit nicer. Rename this. 32769 is MX03. 32771 is MX02. Where's the name? Where's the name? There it is. And then 32771 is MX01. All right, there we go. So we now have them. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close these now. And then whenever I double click on them, it'll open with the new name. There's MX01. There's MX02. There's MX03. I never exited from yesterday. Right click on it, duplicate session, and MX04, and I forgot what the port number was. Let me float over that. Bottom left corner, 32772. There it is, down there. Let's make that 32772. Rename 32772 and change that. Okay. So there we go. Now, when I double click on that one, we have MX04 over here as well. All right, we got to get some IP addresses configured in here, and I'm going to show you a quick way to do it using a notepad. That way you can reuse your configs quickly and easily. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 subnets, and I'm going to make them /30s, and I'm just going to make them 10.103.0.0. We'll use that 10.103 space. All right. So the first 10.103, you know what? I think I'll make that larger. We'll just use a heck of a lot of space. 10.103.0.0/16. Let's use the first /24 to be the loopbacks. Okay, so we need 4 loopbacks: router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4. Okay, there's the /32s. And those will be the loopbacks. And for the router to router connections, those will be /30s. We'll use the next /24. You want loopbacks because when you start up OSPF and label distribution protocol, they're going to want to generate a router ID on each node, and you want that router ID to be anchored to a stable interface. A loopback is the most stable interface on a router. You can't go down. Okay, it's a software interface, and so that's best practice is to use configure a loopback, then configure OSPF, and we'll get to LDP later. But configure your interior gateway protocol for your IGP domain. In this case, we'll use OSPF. And OSPF will start up using, it'll look for an IP address on the router, and then there's a way of looking for what the router ID will be. I think it's the highest IP. You know what? Let's look that up real quick. Juniper OSPF router ID selection. Look at that. The router ID is used by BGP OSPF to identify the routing device from which the packet originated. The router ID is usually the IP address of the local routing device. Yeah, well, of course. If you do not configure a router ID, yeah, then you can also hard code the router ID. That's a good practice as well. The IP address of the first interface to come online, which is usually the loopback. Otherwise, the first hardware interface with an IP address is used. We strongly recommend you configure, get out of here. We strongly recommend you configure a router ID under Edit Routing Options. Okay, so a little bit of guidance there. So that's one of the things we're going to do. Set routing options. And we're going to put a router ID there. We're also going to set interfaces. Loopback 0, unit 0, family INET address, and then it's going to be that address. Okay, and you know what, let me just paste that there as well. It'll be that address. So this is going to, we're building our config. All right, then we're going to set the east and west interfaces, and I'm just going to go with, okay, here, let's put this in here now. The next /24 will be router to router links. Okay, we'll use the next /24 for that. And counting by 4s, because /30s are increments of 4. You have 2 binary digits that you're using for each one of those /30s. So the first one is 0, the next one is 4, the next one is 8, the next one is 12. Okay, which means this first link here is the first one is set interface GE000 unit 0. This is going to be 1. So I'm trying to do each router, but thinking this is going to be 10.103.1.0.4.8 and then 12. Okay, and so this one's going to be 13.14. And I'm getting a phone call, and I might have to drop off the live here for a minute. Let me see if you can bear with me for a second. Let me see. Got to. Yep. I have something I have to deal with. So we'll stop the live for now, and I'll try to start it.